I can't even show that. I just took about 1,200 milligrams and pills and painkillers. Correction, let me make that clear. Because these cramps are trying to take me out. And I've been trying to record this freaking video for an hour now. And I just can't concentrate because my cramps are killing me. It is March 20th. This is a whole month after my Ohio trip from hell. And we here, we alive, we glowing, we thriving. Ah. But yeah, I had already did like a story time. I recorded it and everything of everything that happened in Ohio, but I felt like I was extremely anxious, stuttering a lot, just very overwhelmed, had hate in my heart. And now I don't have no hate. No one deserves hate from me. If you got hate from me, that's too much energy. Like, next, I'm in a way better space. I'm in a it is what it is mindset. I'm no longer friends with this person, and I'm 100% okay with that. Yeah, I'm really 100% okay with that. I was heartbroken at first because I genuinely cared about this person, genuinely, but no, time to cut this person off. It was time. I have not spoken to that person since I've gotten back from Ohio, and yeah, it's that simple. Like, we're not gonna now. I'm not a 1,000% innocent in this situation, because had I set firmer boundaries early on, I have boundary issues. I generally do. I can admit it. I have boundary issues, and if I had set firm boundaries early on, we would have never been in this situation. I don't think so. But at the same time, it's like, don't try to flip it on me after you made it seem like there was no strings attached, and there were definitely strings attached. And I'm explaining this. And I'm explaining. I was always very clear. I just wanted a genuine friendship. Always very clear about that. I even at the beginning blocked this person. Just didn't. I was like, oh, like, you know, if that's not what you want, that's okay. Like, we don't have to talk no more. Like, you know. But this person was like, no, I want a friendship with you. So I'm like, okay, if that's what you want a friendship with me. So we had a 2-year friendship. For 2 years, we were friends. For those 2 years, this person has met my mom, been around my family. I've been around his friends. He has no family here. And he has no family in Ohio. So majority of our time was spent together. If I wasn't at work or he wasn't at work, we were together. But guys, like, on my end, it was never more than that. It was never more than a friendship. Literally. Never more than a friendship. But this person was also very, like, generous. And this is where I go back to the boundary situation. I could have been more firm on it. I could have said no to a lot of the things, but he was very persistent, and he kept insisting whenever, like, he would spend money on me. So who am I to really stop that? You get what I'm saying? And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, it's very important to listen to your mother. It's very important to listen to your mother. My mom would warn me. She would tell me, no man is going to spend money on you without wanting something in return. And I'm learning this. I'm at big ass age, at 25 years old, that she had a point. She genuinely had a point. And my guy friend would tell me, that it was weird that he was spending so much money and not expecting anything in return. But he wasn't the only example where I've been in a situation where a guy spends money on me and I'm not giving anything back in return. You spend the money because you want to. I'm not asking for the money. I'm not begging you for the money. Like, you spent the money because you wanted to. But yeah, he was very generous. He would pay for my hair, for my nails. I had access to his bank account. He would pay for flights. It wasn't like flights like, yeah, I'm going to DR, but it would be flights like traveling back and forth from New York and Ohio. So still, like I said, I should have been more strict with the boundaries, but he was very insistent. So what was, like, you know, but let's go to it. I really wanted to go to Ohio. I can admit it. I really, really wanted to go to Ohio. It wasn't the most responsible decision for me to make at the moment financially because I just got a new apartment and I just got a new job. So I was willing to wait until I could. Like, you know, until it seemed right for me to go to Ohio to see my family because I really missed them. I had I was telling this person how I miss Ohio, and this person constantly offered to buy my flight. Constantly, ever since I moved back to New York. And my excuse, I would always find an excuse. Like, I'd be like, oh, my main excuse though was that before my 9 to 5, I was working at a restaurant. So I had to work weekends. Like, I had to work weekends. So it didn't make sense for me to go during the week either because everyone in Ohio is working. So weekends wasn't working out for me, and during the week, which worked out for me, it didn't make sense for me to go over there. So now that I have my 9 to 5, I have free weekends. This person was very insistent on buying my flight to go to Ohio. I would say no, but they kept insisting. They kept insisting. Who am I to say, like, you kept insisting? So this was nothing new. He has bought a flight for me before, and again, I had never had to give anything up just because this person has spent money on me. Again, this, in my mind, this was a genuine friendship. Like, was I very naive? Yes. Was I maybe purposely being delusional and in purposely being delusional and in La La Land? Maybe. I can admit it, maybe. But I was very clear. I made it very clear always. So, anyways, when this person was buying my flight, I made it very clear as well that the main thing that I want to do during this trip is see my family. Like, I want to see the kids. That's the main thing I want to do. This person had even told me I would be okay seeing you for even 2 hours out of that whole weekend, as long as we get to hang out and I get to see you real quick. So obviously, I'm not gonna do that. Like, you're buying my flight. You're generally like a best friend to me. Like, guys, let me just mention, like, this man knows my whole family again. Like, you know, I'm like, I would spend good times with him. Like, we would, you know, when you have a friendship and you can, like, literally just genuinely sit there and enjoy each other's presence and y'all don't even have to talk. Like, it was generally like that. Like, so obviously, like, me going into this trip, like, I knew, like, half of my time would be spent having fun with my friend and the other half would be spent seeing my family, being with my family. It is a 4-day weekend. You know, I felt like I had enough time to do both. Well, the week of the Ohio trip, I'm talking to my friend. We're here planning out the whole trip. I keep saying my friend because they were my friend. They're no longer my friend, but what am I, you know? So I'm talking to my friend. I'm like, oh, like, these are the plans. Like, this is how we're gonna, like, we're planning everything out. We're talking about the weather, where we're gonna go, etc., etc. I'm mentioning that I want to go to the stores to buy gifts for the kids, and they were all okay with that. Like, they were okay with how I wanted to plan my Ohio trip out. I mentioned I wanted to do my nails with my cousin. My cousin's a nail tech, so they were supposedly all okay with that. They did mention, though, after everything, so we were gonna go out Saturday night. And they mentioned, oh, you should sleep over my house so you're not getting too late to your cousin's house after our night out. I didn't see anything wrong with that, and let me explain why. I've been alone with this person. Nothing has ever happened. I've been to this person's house multiple times by myself, me and him. Nothing has ever happened. No, you know, he's never crossed the line with me, nothing. I've slept not necessarily in his house, but there was like a weekend trip and we were able to stay in the same house, like, you know, and there was no issues. So it's like, it was never weird for me. Like, and I know in his apartment that there's 2 bedrooms, one that's empty for like when there's guests and stuff, and one that's his bedroom. So it was never weird for him to ask me to stay at his house. But I never said yes. I said I would think about it. Let's see, because if, for example, my cousin was joining us in the outing, which that was always the plan in my head, my cousin was gonna go out with us, I could just go back with my cousin. There's no need for me to sleep over your house if she's coming out with us and we're all leaving at the same time. So then the day before the trip, it's a Friday. I leave on a Saturday, the day before the trip. He's talking about, that he's gonna go out because since I'm going out for Valentine's Day, that he wants to go out with his friends to drink. I'm like, hey, have fun. Fuck it. Like, you know. But my thing is, I also was like, don't get too drunk. Like, I don't need you picking me up at the airport, hungover, drunk, anything. Told them that, and that's exactly what he did. He was so hungover that his best friend had to drive him to the airport to get me. And if it wasn't for his best friend, I would have never got picked up at the airport. His best friend was like the one on top of him, woke him up to like get ready, and then they went to go pick me up at the airport, which is something that also I didn't feel uncomfortable about because, again, I've been around, like, the best friend is it's a small town where we're from in Ohio, so it's like everyone knows each other. So I personally knew the best friend very well as well. I know the best friend's wife. I know the best friend's kids. Like, it was never nothing weird. So I was annoyed that you're the one who's supposed to pick me up and you're hungover. Look at the state you're in. But I wasn't uncomfortable because, you know, the best friend was driving. I know the best friend is not like it was a stranger. Well, got picked up from the airport. We're driving, and as we're getting closer to like the town we're from, the best friend asked me like, hey, like, do you want to go to your cousins? Do you want me to drop you off at your cousins, or should we go to our neighborhood? And I say our neighborhood because technically, like, where my cousin lives, it's Cincinnati, Ohio, and then where we live is Hamilton, Ohio, but it's not far from each other. It's literally like a 15-minute drive. And I say our neighborhood because my mom's house, my house where we lived in Ohio, which is still our house out there where my other cousin is living at the moment, it's still there, you know. So that's my neighborhood. That's, you know, where I was living. And as long as my mom's house is out there, that's still gonna be my neighborhood. But yeah, and my friend and the best friend live 5 minutes away from me. So as we're getting closer, yeah, the best friend asked me like, oh, do you want me to drop you off at your cousin's house, or should we go to our neighborhood? My friend responds to me talking about, oh, no, she's not going there now. We'll go later if anything. We're going to our neighborhood right now. I'm like, güey, so ya respondieron por mí. Like, I couldn't even make the decision myself. And I said that, and he was like, no, not like that. Like, you know, it's still super early. Like, they're probably sleeping still, blah, blah, blah. It was 11 in the afternoon. I'm pretty sure they were up, but I'm like, it's whatever. I guess, like, I can still go later because I still really wanted to go to the stores before I went over, and I saw the kids, and I can bring them their gifts. We get to our neighborhood. We bought food, and then we go to the best friend's house. I catch up a bit with the best friend's wife, you know, whatever. And then there was this thing that they kept doing that was pissing me off, which was they were calling me his girl. Like, it was the best friend's wife, and the best friend's wife's brother. I know all of them. They were there, and they kept mentioning me or referring to me as his girl. And I'm like, what is this? Like, y'all should know. Like, that's my friend. Like, why y'all keep doing that? Why do y'all keep doing that? Like, no, like, that's my friend. And whenever I would defend myself in that sense, he would do the same thing. He'd be like, y'all need to stop playing. Like, y'all know she's my friend. Y'all know she's my friend. Okay, just wanted to bring that up to you guys because it's important. So after we're there, you know, catched up a little bit, we end up going to his house. We're at his house, and he's like, oh, like, you know, it's already like 1 in the afternoon. And I'm like, oh, like, I want to go. Like, I don't want to sleep. I want to go to the stores. I want to go to my cousin's house. And he's like, for what? Like, it's so early. Like, why don't we rest a little bit? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, like, if you want, you can go to sleep. I'll take an Uber, if anything. Like, you can go to sleep. I'll take an Uber. Don't worry about it. And they're like, no. Like, if you're not sleeping, I'm not sleeping, blah, blah, blah. But then he also didn't want to, like, leave to do anything. So then this is where the manipulating starts. And you guys might think, like, oh, why did you even put up with this weekend? You know, why did you put up with everything you put up with? My thing was, I was constantly in this back and forth battle with myself internally, whereas, like, part of me was like, oh, like, you know, he just generally wants to spend time with you. Try to make the best try to enjoy the weekend the best that you can, and try to make the best out of the situation. And then the other part of me was like, yo, I can't, like, I feel suffocated. I can't, like, you know. So it was a constant back and forth battle for me. He starts to tell me, I don't know why you're beasting. This is in Spanish, by the way. Basically saying, like, I don't know why you're beasting so much to go see your family. Like, it makes no sense. They're probably busy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, they're expecting me. Like, they know I'm coming. What do you mean? Like, why are you being so difficult? And they're like, no, like, you know, it's just like, let's hang out. Like, I don't know why you're beasting to, like, go see them. whatever. I'm just like, you know, whatever, like let me know when we can go. I took the opportunity as well to have a conversation with him, and I tell him like, hey, like what's been going on, because you've been acting like funny and they keep calling me your girl. Like what's going on? Like I need you to like to be more firm in clearing that up, because you know damn well I'm not your girl, and let's make that very clear. And he's like, oh yeah, I know, like I don't know why they keep joking around like that, etc, etc. And I'm like, are you clear? Like are you clear on that we're just friends? And they're like, yeah, whatever you say, etc, etc. I'm like, okay. I go, and I was like, all right, like, you know, he's here resting. I'm like, let me go shower, because, you know, I got my airplane clothes on and everything. Why do I go to this man's bathroom? It was just like, I did not feel comfortable showering there. Like, something in me was just like, no, and like, no. So then, what did I do? I turned on the water. When I turned on the water wasn't hot enough for me. So I told him, like, hey, like, you know, the water doesn't get any hotter than this. Like, you know, I'm not, I don't think like, I think I'm gonna just grab my stuff and shower at my cousin's house. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, no, it's not. And honestly, guys, it wasn't getting hot. Like, the water was like warm. It wasn't like any hot water. So I was like, no, that's not hot enough. Like, I can't shower like this, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, I don't know why you're being so difficult. I'm like, you know, I'm a difficult person. So this is nothing new. I'm not gonna shower here. It's just that simple. So then, as like we're both in the bathroom, he's passing by, and this is where like I'm like, what are you doing? Like he tries to pass by me, and as he's passing by me, he does this slick like putting his hands on my hips to like cross over me. Like, you know when someone's like passing by you, and like they're just like putting their hands on your hips to like pass by. So he does that, and I'm like, whoa. And they're like, what? He was like, what? I'm like, what is that? Like, no. So then from there he's like, what? There's nothing wrong with that. Then this is where it gets interesting. He tried to kiss me. He tried to kiss me. I was like, oh no. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Like, no. I'm very, like, no, don't piss me off, because no. He's like, oh, like, you know, I was just kidding. Whatever you say, that's how it is, blah, blah, blah. He just kept saying that. Whatever you say, that's how it is. Whatever you say, that's how it is. And I'm like, bro, like, what is your problem? Like, I was at that point, I was very, like, I felt hot. Like, I felt overwhelmed. I felt like I was suffocating. Like, I was not feeling okay. I'm like, yo, like, let's go. Like, we need to go to my cousin's house. Like, let's go. So we ended up leaving. We go to my cousin's house. I'm here thinking I'm going to go in by myself. I'm gonna go in by myself, and you know he's gonna leave. He's gonna, you know, come back for me later. No, this man decides to come in with me. This man decides to come in with me, and I'm like, bro, what? And he comes in with the most like stink face ever, and I'm just like, bro, what is your problem? Like, mind you, my cousin's mom received me at the door with open arms, very warm welcome, and everything, and he's just being Mr. Negative Nancy in here. I end up in the kitchen with my cousin. I even tell her, I'm like, you're just being very nasty. This, like, ever since I got here, I feel like I'm suffocating. Like, I feel like, I kept telling her, I feel like, me siento secuestrada. Like, I'm like, why? Like, I'm not, guys, I was just like, bro, like, he's never like this. He's never been like this. Like, why am I dealing with this now? Like, why is he being like this? So, whatever, my cousin, she had a client coming in. And I decided, like, okay, I'm gonna go sit in the living room with mom. So I'm here in the living room cuddling with mom on the couch and everything. And he goes, oh, weren't you gonna shower? I'm like, so like, diablo, yo tengo un bajo. I even asked mom, I was like, do I stink? That, you know, like, he's here pressing me to go shower. And she's like, no, mija, tú sabes, like, you know, para que aprovechen el tiempo aquí, because you're only here for the weekend. So I'm like, I guess you guys. She's like, yeah, vete a bañar, no te preocupes. So I take my stuff and I go downstairs to my cousin's room, and I shower in her bathroom. When I get out the shower is connected to the bathroom. Wait, whoa. Reverse. The bathroom is connected to the bedroom, and so there's two doors. There's the bedroom door that leads to the outside, to the basement living room, and then there's the door that leads to the bathroom on the other side. So I'm exiting the bathroom, going into the bedroom, and as I'm going to close the door for the bedroom that leads to the outside to the living room, I see him sitting on the couch, and I'm just like no me deja quieta. Like I hadn't had a moment to myself since I landed, and he won't let me. I felt like I could not breathe. I felt like I could not breathe, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. So I closed the door. I took my time getting dressed and getting ready because I'm like, I just need this moment to myself. Like, you know, once I'm done, I go to the living room, and he's like, oh, come here, like, let me talk to you. I'm like, what? Mind you, in the living room, next to the living room is the room where my cousin is working out of, because her nail room is there. And he's like, here's where the manipulating starts again. He's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, what do you mean what I'm doing here? He's like, yeah, what are you doing here? You're just disturbing these people. You don't see that your cousin's there working. She got clients, so what are you going to do here? Them kids are upstairs playing, and then you're disturbing that lady. That lady's trying to watch her movies peacefully, and you're just there. Like, what is it? What? You came, you said hi, there's nothing else to talk about. Like, let's go. Like, what are you doing here? I'm like, why are you being so nasty? Like, there's no need to be so nasty. Like, I'm here, and I'm chilling, and this is what we do, and this is how we bond. If I want to go sit on that couch with her and just stare at the TV, then that's what we're gonna do, and that's how we bond. Like, what is your deal? Like, guys, I lived in that house before moving to, like, before me and my mom moved to our own home in Ohio. I lived in that house for about a year before moving. So for you to act like, so, like, what do you mean? Like, that's how we used to bond before. We would literally sit on the couch together, all cuddled up, watching movies. What is your problem? But he just kept going, and it was pissing me off. So I'm like, you know what? Go to the car. I'll be out in a few. Well, I let him go to the car, and I go upstairs, and I decided to sit my butt down in the living room and talk with mom. I'm like, yeah, and I was talking shit. I was like, yeah, he's driving me crazy. Me siento secuestrada. Me siento sofocada. Like, I just can't take it no more. And she's just like, oh. Both her and my cousin was like, well, like, because he bought the flight, he feels entitled to your time. And I'm like, if that's the case, he should have never bought the flight, because I told him from the jump before coming here how I was gonna spend my time. So I don't know why he's acting like that. And they're like, oh, like, you know, now you know in the future, like, this is the lesson you've learned, blah blah blah. Well, I didn't even eat the food that mom cooked for me because I was just like I lost my appetite. I was just very annoyed, and I knew that he was waiting in my car, and he was gonna start he was waiting in the car, and he was gonna start like blowing up my phone if I didn't leave soon. So I was like, oh, like, I'll come back tomorrow, like, I'm gonna come do my nails anyways, etc etc. So I ended up leaving. I get in the car, and I'm like, okay, so what's your plan? What's your plan? Because you was being so nasty trying to get me to leave. What's your plan? What are we gonna do? Well, he was like, oh, I don't have a plan. Like, vamos por ahí. Eso no importa. Vamos por ahí. I'm like, no, because no, I had my trip perfectly planned. Oof, my camera's dying. Okay, yeah, like, let me try to speed up the story because I'm over it already. But basically, yeah, so I already had everything planned, and he had nothing planned. So I'm like, how you upset because I want to spend time at my cousin's house and you don't even have, like, something planned for me to do? And you were beasting for me to leave. So he starts driving back to our neighborhood, and he goes, I guess he tried to calm down, and he changed his tone. You know, he was trying to be, I guess, nice. And he was like, okay, like, let's go to this Mexican restaurant. So excuse me, we go to the Mexican restaurant. I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be a calm little nice dinner, you know, me and him. And he ends up calling all his guy friends. All his guy friends show up. They all get obnoxiously drunk. It's disgusting, like, how drunk they were and how loud, obnoxious, dirty things were falling on the floor. I was just very overstimulated, and thank God I didn't drink much. I think all I had was, what, like 2 beers. I felt bad for the poor waitress. But yeah, so then the best friend's wife ended up coming, and before she even got there, I just didn't like how the best friend decided. And I feel like they all think the same way, and like, they're just, so that's another reason why I felt like I would never look at my friend the way, you know, anything more than a friend, because at the end of the day, they have like this very ignorant macho man mentality, like, women gotta stay home, cook, clean, and then the guys do whatever they want as long as they're working and maintaining, you know. So I don't like that. and it's more ignorant than what I'm making it sound. But yeah, so so the best friend was making comments like, oh, I don't know what it is now that she feels like she needs to wear makeup now that, you know, she's going out, like it makes no sense, blah blah blah. I'm just like, you sound fucking stupid. She wants to look good while being out with you, and you making these stupid ass comments. Like, are you dead ass right now? But whatever. Wife gets there, take the opportunity because she wanted to use the bathroom and she asked me to come with her. And when we're in the bathroom, I asked her like, hey, like, do he really be calling me my girl, or like, where y'all get this idea from that I'm his girl? And she's like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, she was like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, like, he really do be acting like you his girl. Like, he really be just like yesterday, Friday, he was like, oh yeah, like, I can't do too much because I gotta pick up my girl at the airport. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm annoyed, I'm pissed, and I made sure to make it very clear to her because she's like very chismosa, and I know she was gonna go back to everybody with this information, and I was like, let's make this very clear. I have nothing with that man. All we had was a friendship, and that's it. I never had anything more than that with him. So no, no, like, it's, make that very clear, like, we are just friends. So then it's time for us to go. This man is so drunk that I had to drive back to the house, and I was very annoyed because, one, I don't like driving other people's cars, and two, it was pouring raining. Like, it was raining so bad. It was bad. It was dark out. I just did not like it. I was very overwhelmed and stressed out. We all go back to his house and like go to vibes, whatever, blah blah blah. And they're like so drunk, they start arguing within each other, like between each other. They start arguing, bickering, and then after they calm down, he's going back and forth between me, like having conversation with me, and then going back to like his friends or whatever. And then at one point, I'm like on my camera, like, you know, just going through footage, and he tries to take my camera away from me. Oh, and I didn't mention, at the restaurant, he was trying to like snatch my phone. I'm like, the fuck you touching my phone for? Don't touch my phone. And he kept doing it, and he was like, oh, I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. Like, no, don't touch my phone. And then he was doing the same thing with the camera. He was trying to take the camera from me. I'm like, don't touch my stuff. I don't like that. Don't touch my stuff. You're like, don't touch nothing. My cousins and my friends, they be like, oh, I'm this mean to him because I really don't like him. But it's true. I don't like you. You're just a friend. So yeah, here's the boundary. Like, if I gotta be mean to you, I'm gonna be mean to you. Like, chill the fuck out. Don't be touching my stuff. But yeah, so then after that, like, this man decides, he randomly gets up and then goes to his room, plops himself on his bed, and just knocks the fuck out. So then I'm stuck by myself with all these guests, and then the wife decides to, like, the best friend's wife, she's like, oh, like, you should tell, like, everyone it's time to go. And mind you, I'm mad tired. I had not slept. I was running on like maybe an hour, 2 hours of sleep because I had went out the night before, and then like whatever I slept on the plane. So I was exhausted, and then the fact that I had to like now kick people out, like, it was very annoying. But I told her, I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable, like, this is not my house. Why I gotta kick people out, like, you know? So I had gotten up to go wake up my friend to, like, you know, handle your guest. The fuck, handle your guest. I'm your guest. Why the hell are you, like, come on. So when I'm walking to the room to go wake his ass up, and the best friend is like, no, like, don't wake him up. The best friend and the cousin, like, no, don't wake him up, like, don't worry about it, like, we'll like we'll leave. And I'm like, no, like, you know, like, he has to wake up, like, you know, he has to take care of it. He's like, they're like, no, don't wake him up. So then the best friend and the cousin go into the room, and I guess they're undressing him to get him into bed properly, you know, like, get him comfortable. And then as they're doing that, two random ass guys come into the apartment. I'm like, oh hell no. So then I go banging on the door, like, nah, like, everybody gotta go now, like, everybody gotta go, like, no. So then they're like, no, like, don't worry, like, what, and then we'll make sure that the doors are locked very well, blah blah blah. So everyone leaves. The best friend and the cousin, like, double check the door to make sure it's really locked, and then they leave. I was so exhausted, I just took myself in the next room over. Why do I wake up 4 in the morning to this man knocking on the door telling me, oh yeah, like, come to the other room? Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. I'm an anxious person. The fuck you waking me up for? I cannot, like, when I get woken up like that, like, abruptly, like, you know, mad, like, I get mad panicky, my heart starts racing, mad anxious, like, the fuck you waking me up for? I hate when someone wakes me up. Like, get out, like, bro, get out. I literally got up, slammed the door in his face, and locked the door, the room door, the way I should have done in the first place. I was tired, guys. I was tired. I had texted my cousin Like, girl, I need you to pick me up. So obviously she was gonna see that at 4 in the morning, but I was assuming she would see it like when she wakes up. Reminder, guys, like, it's pouring raining. My cousin lives 15 minutes away. An Uber was $70 because of how bad the rain was. I was not paying that. I just locked the door and, you know, called it a night. Told her to pick me up the next day. When I look out the window, a whole fucking snowstorm had happened. So it's white everywhere. It's just really like outside. So I got up and I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. My cousin's like, oh, like, you know, she had an errand to run and then she can go get me. But then she wasn't sure she was going to run the errand, blah, blah, blah. Well, this man wakes up and he's like, oh, why are you mad? Why are you mad? I'm like, ask your friends why I'm mad. Ask your friends or use common sense. You'll probably figure it out. He's like, oh, like, let's go to eat and then blah, blah, blah. Get ready. We go to eat. I'm like, I need you to take me the same tone I'm using with you guys to tell y'all the stories. The same tone I was using with him because I was over it. I was exhausted. I was just like, oh my god, like, can this weekend like be over? Mind you, it was like a 4 day weekend, and then so my flight, I was supposed to leave like on a Monday, but then I had an appointment on Tuesday. On Tuesdays I'm remote. That appointment ended up getting canceled, and then originally I had thought like, oh yeah, like I can just stay an extra day in Ohio. Hell no. Hell no. I was not. I was like, every second on that trip I was like, come on, I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to go home. Well, we're out eating. I tell him like, oh, I want to go to the stores. You never took me to the stores to buy the kids gifts, so I want you to take me to the stores. You know what he tells me? He's like, oh, go with your cousin since you want to be with her so bad. I'm like, are you dumb? No, you're gonna take me. You're gonna take me because you said that you was gonna take me. You promised you would take me, so you're gonna take me. So what he did, he took me after we was done eating. He took me to the stores. He stayed in his car, mad grumpy. I bought whatever I had to buy, and then he's like, oh, I'm too tired. I just want to stay in. Blah blah blah. You could take the car and go do your nails. Go to your cousin's house to do your nails. I was like, hallelujah, hallelujah, because I was like, oh yeah. That means, yeah, I could go about my day. No one's gonna be rushing me, you know? So that's exactly what I did. I packed my stuff, took the car to my cousin's, and I just spent most of the day there. I like to make sure we took our time. I ate there, did my nails, did my toes. I showered there, spent a little bit of time there, you know? And then after, I wanted to go to where I wanted to go to my mom's house, but it's my cousin's house. It's my mom's house, but my cousin is living there with her family. So I wanted to go there because she recently just had a baby, and I wanted to see the baby, as y'all saw earlier in the video. So after, like, you know, spending most of the day at my cousin's house, I went to her sister to see her sister, and I was just there for a bit. I spent it with the kids. I was there while this man texted me like, oh, are you almost done? I'm like, no, I still got a lot to do. And he's like, all right, like, let me know. All right. An hour passed. He calls me. He's like, oh, are you, when do you think you'll be done? I'm hungry. I'm like, all right, eat something. I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. Eat something. He's like, oh no, I'm gonna just wait till you get here, blah blah blah. This man literally waited till I got to the crib again to be like, all right, like, let's order food and eat something. But I'm not gonna lie, out of that whole weekend, that night was the most peaceful moment that I had with him. We literally ordered a pizza in. We watched a movie together in the living room. After that, I think it was like 10 o'clock. I went to the room that I'm staying at, and he went to the room that he was staying at, locked the door, and I knocked the whole night. That was the best sleep I got that whole trip. And I just slept, and I slept, and I slept in the most that I could. Now I'm on my last day. My last day of the trip is the day that I gotta leave, and he had texted me, and he's like, oh, are you gonna keep on sleeping, or are you gonna get up? I'm like, I'm gonna get up soon. So then I got up, and he's like that he was hungry, that what are we gonna eat, blah blah blah. So I had offered, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I'll cook something before I leave, because he wanted like a home cooked meal, and I guess that was like my thank you for like paying for my flight. So I had told him, oh, like, I can make chuleta or habichuela. And then he had said okay at first. Then when the day of, when like I told him like, okay, you need to go to the supermarket to get these things, he's like, no, why don't you go? I'm like, why don't you starve? because I'm not hungry, and I can go get food on my own. Or like I can just I was like so over it. I was like I can wait till the fucking airport because my flight was like I had to be at the airport at like 3 in the afternoon. Well, I lied to him. I didn't have to be at the airport that early, but I wanted to be at the airport that early because I just wanted to like just be done. So I'm like I can just eat at the airport. Like I'm not hungry. Like and I can hold out till the airport. And he was just like, no, like why don't you go to the supermarket? I'm like, no, I'm not going to the supermarket. So then he was like, oh, I'm not even gonna lie, I don't want chuleta. Malagradecido. What do you like? So he was like, oh, why don't you make your chicken pastelitos, blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, you go to the supermarket, I'll make whatever. Like, go to the supermarket. I'm not going to the supermarket. You don't go to the supermarket, I'm not doing shit because you don't got like, what am I gonna, no. So go to the supermarket and get the stuff and make it snappy because I got a flight to catch. So he goes to the supermarket, he gets the stuff, he comes back, I put the stuff to cook. I like to personally boil my chicken because I feel like the chicken comes out juicier, and it's like after, I'll season it and it. This man was complaining the whole time talking about it's taking too long, that he's hungry. I'm like, you're literally a child. Like, shut the fuck up. I love being able to tell, a man to shut the fuck up because shut up. Like, you talk too much shit. Like, there's so much shit coming out of your mouth. And I know it sounds so nasty, me cursing this much right now, but yo, I was over it. I could not stand that man. Like, I was just like, bro, like, I was literally counting the seconds for me to get out of there. So, at the end, I finished making the pastelitos. He's dogging them shits. He's dogging it. And then he's trying to throw shots while he's eating them. Talking about, oh, por lo menos están bueno. I'm like, stayed quiet. Then he goes again, oh, diablo, sí, tan bueno. Damn, this is good. Stayed quiet. And he goes, thank you. I'm like, it took so much for you to say that? It took a lot for you to say that, huh? And he was like, oh, like, I'm joking. You take everything so serious. No, you pissed me off. Shut up. So then we still had some time left before going to the airport. So I was like, I'm taking the car and I'm going to my cousin's house. I went to my cousin's house, the one that is living at like my mom's house, just so I can see the babies again, say bye to them and stuff like that. And then it was time for me to really go. Pack my stuff. He drives me to the airport. I fell asleep in the car. And what happened? Oh, arriving to the airport, oh my god, I was like, just my luck. I might end up getting stuck here. I got a text from American Airlines talking about your flight has been canceled. Doesn't tell me why or anything, but your flight has been canceled. I'm like, what? I'm texting my best friend panicking like, girl, I don't know what to do. My flight got canceled, blah blah blah. Like, she's like, girl, the way this weekend has been set up, wait till you get to the airport, figure it out. Don't say nothing and don't stress out in front of him. My battery had died, so I'm gonna just finish the story here real quick while the camera charges. But basically, yeah, so I had arrived at the airport. They told me that the flight was canceled due to weather, and I was like, okay, so what is the solution, because you're not giving me a solution right now. And they told me that basically that there was a flight instead of going to LaGuardia, which was the original plan, which is the best option for me because I live like 20-25 minutes away from LaGuardia, and that's like a $30 Uber right there. They're like, oh yeah, we have a flight going to JFK. So now it's like, oh, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get home from JFK. And the Uber was like what, $80-$90. So I was just like, oh my god, whatever. But whatever to like get out of here, I'm gonna do. So I was like, yeah, put me on that flight. Whatever, thank God I made it back safely. After I made it here, I did text him like, I arrived, thank you. And that was the last of it. That's the last I spoke to him. And yeah, more of the story, there's always strings attached. That's what I learned from it. And yeah, I'm just like over it. I know I'm not 100% innocent, because at the end of the day, I should have been more firm in setting boundaries, and I shouldn't have been accepting things from him. Yeah, it's partially my fault, and yeah, I can admit it. And here we are. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't talk to the man anymore. I learned my lesson for sure. I was put into, I told you guys the gist of it, honestly. Like, I know the storytelling was very long, but I told you guys the gist of it, and there was more parts to it. And I really did put myself in a situation where something could have happened to me. Don't want to get into too much details about that. Point is, I'm no longer friends with this person. And yeah, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you, because it was a lot of yapping. It was a lot of yapping, but thank you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it. I'm done with this video. Like, I just want to put this all behind me. And yeah, thank you guys, thank you. I'm literally like just rushing now because I know something at her ghetto, because my camera is like, the battery is dying. I'm running out of memory. But yeah, thank you. Stay tuned for the next video that's coming soon.